Happy Monday, friends. Carrie Kenyon Dern here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed meditating on Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 11 to 20 with me this past week. You know, this passage impacted me personally this last week because once again I had a client come to me and this person was so depressed, so wounded, so hurting, and so hopeless that they were pretty convinced that the best possible pathway, the best plan for them would be to end their life. And they were very honest with me about that in our sessions. And I was listening and I was praying and I was asking the Lord how to respond to them and wanting to be sensitive, wanting to be empathetic, wanting to validate this client's experience and reality, but at the same time address it spiritually. Because I remember a time in my life when I was so depressed and I was so hopeless that I wanted to end my life. And for me, if I had just gone through what felt logical at the time, what felt right emotionally at the time, I probably would have ended my life. But thankfully, the Holy Spirit helped me to identify that there was something spiritually going on. And so with my client this past week, I very gently asked them, I said, are you aware that there is a spiritual battle for you? Are you aware that every choice you're making, not just the choice to live or die, but every choice that you make all day, every day, is a choice between life and death? Now, that doesn't really sit well with us often because that doesn't seem to be politically correct. We live in a culture that very much embraces the gray, not black and white, and that's a black and white truth. But I want to read this passage and I want to reflect on it with you because the application, not just for my clients who are in a very desperate place of wanting to no longer be alive, but I think for so many of us every day, we need to remember the spiritual reality of this choice. So this is literally marked in my Bible and probably in yours as the choice between life or death. So let me read Deuteronomy 30, starting in verse 11 all the way through 17. This command I am giving you today is not too difficult for you, and it's not beyond your reach. It's not kept in heaven so distant that you must ask, who will go up to heaven and bring it down so we can hear and obey it? It's not kept beyond the sea so far away that you must ask, who will cross the sea and bring it to us so that we can hear and obey it? No, the message is very close at hand. It's on your lips and it's in your heart so that you can obey it. Now listen. Today I give you a choice between life and death, between prosperity and disaster. For I command you this day to love the Lord your God and to keep his commands, decrees, and regulations by walking in his ways. And if you do this, you will live and multiply, and the Lord your God will bless you and the land you are about to occupy. But if you turn your heart away, and if you refuse to listen, and if you are drawn away to serve and worship other gods, then I warn you now that you will certainly be destroyed, and you will not live a long, good life in a land you are crossing the Jordan to occupy. Today I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessing and curses, and I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice that you make. Oh, that you would choose life, so that you and your descendants might live. You can make this choice by loving the Lord your God, obeying him, and committing yourself firmly to him, for this is your life. So this passage equates life to choosing to follow and commit yourself wholeheartedly to the God who created you. So anything apart from that then would be death. Now, certainly there's a few of you out there that would say, but Carrie, that's Deuteronomy. That's Old Testament. How do I know that applies to my life today? Well, the cool thing about Jesus is he intersects the Old Testament into our daily life. He is not just the mediator between us and God. He's the mediator between this Old Testament concept, making it very much applicable to our lives today. How? Well, in John 10:10, Jesus said, the enemy has come to rob, kill, and destroy your life. I have come to give you life to the fullest. Now, that word in the Greek, the fullest, is actually zoe. And we don't have a really accurate word for it in the English. The closest I could give you would be to thrive. To thrive would be close to zoe. It means life to the fullest, life indeed. So Jesus is saying, you either choose me, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and you live, or you're choosing something that is death to you. The enemy has come to rob, kill, and destroy your life. So that's pretty dramatic talk. But he's referring to the enemy of 1 Peter 5:8, which says, your enemy's a roaring lion who's seeking to devour you. And I think so often, my experience in my own personal life and in the lives of the clients that I'm working with, I see that we're almost lulled into this complacency. It's like we're in this death cocoon. It's not a dramatic choice for all of us. I want to die, but we make small death choices and we're gradually moving towards that. It is truly either life or death every day, what you're choosing. So what does that look like practically? What does that look like in its application? It means you're either eating things that are life or death to you. You're either speaking life or death over yourself and over your family, your friends, your coworkers, your colleagues. You're either choosing life or death in the thoughts that you agree to. And if you're having thoughts that are not of God, the lies, fear, the shame that we talked about last week, and you're not rejecting those things, that's death to you. So you're either embracing life or death with every choice that you make. That's what this passage is saying. So whether you are like my client who I met this week and you need to reject all the death in your life, or you're convicted today by this passage saying, you know, there are some very simple, practical ways that I unintentionally have been choosing death in my life. I've been choosing death by not being prayerful and thoughtful and committed to taking good care of my body. I've been choosing death by eating the wrong things or not taking care of myself, or I've been choosing death by speaking things over myself in my mind that are unkind or unloving, or speaking things over my children or my husband or my wife or my friends or my in-laws that are not loving. Whatever it is that you are choosing death in, the Holy Spirit is more than capable of revealing that to you. But my encouragement to you in reflection on this passage is that you would ask the Holy Spirit in prayer, is there any way in my life that I am choosing death? And if He reveals something to you, that you would reject it. I don't want us to throw the baby out with the bathwater on this passage, thinking that it's just talking about physically being alive, or physically not being alive, being dead. It's also in the choices that we make, the little choices in our estimation that add up to a very big spiritual reality of either choosing Jesus, John 10:10, or choosing the death and the destruction and all of the carnage of the enemy. So as you continue to reflect on this passage this week, please also jump back to John 10:10 and look at that. Look at how that crosses over between the Old and the New Testament. I hope that that blessed you. Please leave your comments. Please let me know how this passage impacted your life. And then let's go ahead for next week and let's meditate on Revelation chapter 12. Now, you can meditate on the whole chapter, but we're going to talk specifically about verses 10 and 11 next week. Have a great week, you guys.